Alright, so here's the pump. It's pretty simple. I got white sleeving on it because we're doing black and white in case you didn't notice. So, ta-da, it's just a simple 3-pin like a fan would be. I don't know necessarily what these what the purpose of these leg things are. They really just come right off, and then you just push them in. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with these. I guess I'm gonna figure that out later. But inlet, outlet, pretty simple. They also have this little extension cable in here. So I guess the idea is that you plug in either this Molex end or whatever to, I guess it would actually be this. And then you get the same Molex out for whatever you had, but you also get another 3-pin slot, because the idea is that you plug it in to the pump like that. I take it. Whatever. And then you have another 3-pin. So, I guess, technically, I could end up using this for that fan extension that I need. Possibly. Yay. That's the pump. This is the reservoir. It's not very big, obviously. But that's fine. I don't need it to be huge. Because usually what you do is you have this downspout tube. That way it'll sit below the water level. So you'll have the water level up here for say, and then the water coming down will go here. That way you don't have trickling or anything like that for it. This can be the top with these two plugged, and that'll be the bottom. Or those two can be the bottom, this can be plugged, and that can be plugged. There we go. Look at me, I'm so good at this. So that's the reservoir. These are the two brackets that you're supposed to use to mount it somewhere, if indeed you choose that route. And the reservoir goes in, clips in. Honestly, I feel like I could get away with using one. So it's not like I'm going to be moving this all the time. So I feel like I could get away with using one. I mean, really, it just kind of slides over. And then clips. And I mean, I'm already pretty confident in it just to do something like that. I feel like one would hold this pretty well, especially since it's pretty small. But who knows, once fluid gets in there, it'll obviously get heavier. So maybe I'll use two. It depends. But it's just the way that the reservoir plate holds. I don't have in there. This is supposed to snap onto the 5 1/4 inch bays that sit atop this to help secure it from moving this way. Obviously, I don't have the 5 1/4 inch bay in there, since I'm fitting this 280 rad in here, which isn't officially in spec for this case. It only supports radiators technically up to 240, but it has two 140 mil fans. But it's just because this radiator sticks up a little bit more above the fans that it would block the 5 1/4 inch bay bottom. So that won't work. It's not going back in. And technically, this whole fan up here, too, is sitting where the 5 1/4 inch bay would be. So realistically, I could only use, like, my middle one, even if I wanted to use a 5 1/4 inch bay, which, well... So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a way to stabilize that at all, or if I'm just going to end up using, like, these two, or something closer to the middle, to where I don't have to worry about that as much. So, and I'm still not sure yet if I'm going to do top in or two bottom ones or whatever. I don't know. It's going to be quite the process to figure that out. Alright, so the moment now is I'm going to take off the heatsink and the air cooler for this, clean off the block, clean off the back plate, and then put all those thermal pads back on. So, yay. Gonna do all of that now, and then probably right afterwards I'm gonna do the CPU cooler and do the same thing, and then put, I don't even have the CPU block out. I still haven't looked at the CPU block. So, y'all better be proud of me for that. Alright, so you guys can see I'm at the desk now, and we are going to clean that baby off. That's off. And then take that off. So, to do that, I have these wonderful coffee filters and this wonderful 91% isopropyl alcohol. Now, anyone who wants to say that I need 99, I'm just going to tell you that 91 is going to work just fine. And if you don't want to agree with that, then sorry, it's going to work fine. So, going to clean this off, then I'm going to take that off and clean that off, and then I'm probably going to clean this off. Alright, so, the block has been cleaned. You can, look at how perfectly looky that is. Doesn't that look a lot nicer? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Good. See, now we can all agree on something. I'm gonna go get a screwdriver to take care of this. And then, yeah. Then we'll be ready to clean off the back plate and then put the block and the back plate back on. Alright, and now the cooler is off. So you can see the gorgeousness of the card. This whole thing that I gotta clean off is the GPU. And I'm actually surprised how little there is on this side of the PCB. It's actually not a whole lot. But I'm trusting that it's there for a reason, so I won't cut it off. Hui. Alright, and she's all nice and clean now. Focus on it. It's having a difficult time focus because it doesn't know what to focus on. No. There. It's trying to focus on the reflection. But yeah, all nice and clean now. So, now I'm going to go do the backplate really quick. The backplate's back behind my laptop there. So we're going to go do that, and then we'll be ready to put the block onto the cooler, or onto the card. I don't know, I can't think right now. Damn it. Alright, so everything's cleaned off. I got the back plate sitting underneath the card. You can probably see it down there a little bit. It's not mounted anything, I just have it sitting down there because of space. So, I'm going to get ready to put this onto that with all those. Yeah. Alright, so I already did this once, but I ran out of space when I was recording it, like halfway through, so I have no clue what happened in that video, so just quick rundown. The block and the back plate are on the other card now. The problem I ran into is that these screws, even though I don't actually have to do anything on the front, but on the back plate, they're hex screws and not, well, there's not one there. They're hex screws, there's 5 there. There's hex screws and not Phillips screws, and I didn't necessarily have the correct size, so I kind of had to just somehow get them kind of tight. And I know that's really bad, but I'll work on it and get them better later. Actually, this is the one I just did. This one's had the block on it for a while still. So that's done. Both of those are good. And going to do the CPU block. That's the CPU block. I had a much more dramatic unboxing previously, but there it is. Looks rather gorgeous. There is a white backlit LED. That's what this 3-pin is for, and that's just going to go straight into the board right by it. There are other colors too. White is back there already, but there's a blue one, a red one, and a green one. also that we won't be using. And this is the original shield on it. It would normally sit like that, and it would glow through this, but that's a lot better, I think. So there's that. They already have the mounting hardware on this for the wrong socket, because this is all I will need to mount mine, because I have a fancy one. This is the stuff for the AMD brackets. We don't use that at all. They actually gave some thermal compound also, so I guess I'll end up using this instead of the big huge tube of whatever the other one that I have is. The other note that I was going to say is that I did try to mount my pump a little bit, but the issue is that nothing on the pump is threaded, so I can't actually screw it into anything. None of these holes are threaded, none of those are threaded, and even on this thing, none of those are threaded at all either. So it kind of, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess it kind of just sits there in some interesting manner, or whatever. So that's all of that. I gotta think if there was anything else that I'm going to do now or not. No, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take the CPU cooler off the board now. This is coming off finally with its ugly, hideous, and small, dirty little radiator. That's finally coming off. So yeah, that's the next step.